Hello everyone! Today our story comes from the New Testament. It's one of the stories that Jesus told. If you remember, Jesus liked to tell stories to explain something to people. This story explains us just what God is like when we do something wrong. I wonder if you have any idea which story it's going to be. Let's get started. Once there was a dad who had 2 sons. The oldest son loved working for his dad. He always worked hard and always did what his dad said. But the younger one hated it. He didn't want to be stuck on the farm. He didn't want to do what his dad said. It would be so much better if he was off on his own, he thought. So off he went to his dad. "I want my share of your money now," he said. "I don't want to wait around here. I want to go off and explore." So his dad split all of the money in 2, half for his older son, half for his younger son, and reluctantly he gave the money over. So off the younger son went, taking all the money with him. He travelled long and far until he reached a city far, far away. When he got there, he bought new, expensive clothes and soon found that he had lots of friends who were happy to spend time with him and happy to help him spend his money. I wonder if they were true friends at all. The son spent his money watching races, having parties, eating expensive food, drinking expensive drink, and all of his friends enjoyed it. That is, until one day a famine came along. There wasn't enough food to go round. The younger son had spent all of his money, and as soon as his new friends realised he had no money, they quickly left him. He was all alone. He went out into the country to look for a job, but the only work he could get was looking after a field of pigs. It was a dirty, messy, unhappy job. He looked at the food that the pigs were eating and thought, "Oh, if only I could eat some of this food too. I'm so hungry." But then he realised something. Back home with his father, there were lots of servants that his father looked after and gave food to. Lots of them had food to spare, yet here he was, starving to death. So he decided he'd go back to his father and say to him, "I'm really sorry for what I've done. I'm not worthy to be called your son anymore, but please can I work for you as a servant so I can have food to eat?" I wonder what his father will say to him when he sees his son walking home. Well, here his father is. Even when his son was a long way off, he saw him in the distance and was filled with such love for him that he ran to him, threw his arms round him and gave him a big hug. The son said, "I'm so sorry, Dad, for how I've behaved. I'm so sorry for what I've done. I'm no longer worthy to be your son." But the father called his servants over. "Quick! Bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine I thought was lost, but now he's back." So they all had a big party. Wasn't that an amazing story? Even though the son had spent all the money and made really bad decisions, when he came back home, his father wasn't cross. His father didn't make him become like a servant. He was so happy to see his son again that he gave him a huge hug. Jesus was telling us that that's just what God is like. We do wrong things sometimes, but when we go back to God, he is so happy. There's a huge party in heaven. We're going to make a hug to remember that that's what God is like. For this craft, you'll need 2 A4 pieces of coloured paper, some white paper, a pair of scissors, a glue stick, and something to draw with. On one of your pieces of paper, draw round both of your hands, then cut them out. Take your next piece of paper and fold it in half. Give it a good crease so you know where the centre line is. Open it out again and then cut along that line so you have 2 strips. We're going to make one big strip out of these 2 strips. So we're going to put some glue down one of the short sides and then stick the other piece where we've just put the glue. So now we've got one long blue piece of paper. Now we're going to draw a face. So on one of your plain pieces of paper, draw a big circle and then make some eyes, a nose and a mouth. On a piece of plain paper, we've written, God loves us and forgives us, just like the father who welcomes his son home with a hug. So now we're going to stick our cutout head to the top of our big long strip of paper in the middle. So you just need a little bit of glue there and then pop the head on. When we've done that, we're going to take the words that we wrote and we're going to glue those underneath the head. So now we've turned over our big strip and at one of the short ends, we're going to put some glue and at the other short end, and that's going to be where we attach our hands on. These are like really, really long arms. One hand and our next hand. So I've turned it back round to the front again and now we're going to fold our arms in. First one, make a nice crease and then the next one. And now you've got your hug all folded up, ready for the surprise inside.